If you're anything like me, you might have heard whispers about VR golf. You might have even seen people swinging in their living room and think to yourself, that's just not golf. And hey, I don't blame you because I thought exactly the same thing. However, I'm going to show you some very cool things from, let's say, a golf coach's point of view when it comes to VR golf. I'm going to show you why I think this is going to help so many golfers get their head around how to swing a club properly. Talk about the obvious downsides that I see every comment section filled with when it comes to virtual reality golf and what that potentially does to your real life swing. But more importantly, out of any sport in the world, how VR golf is going to change the landscape. Mainly because I've seen it all before. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Interesting one today because this is kind of more than just VR golf. Because whether you're an avid Golf Plus user or VR golf user, someone that doesn't even think they're ever going to touch VR golf, I feel like this video is not only going to be interesting, but very helpful to all of you watching. And the reason that I say that is that I'm in a very unique position. Number one, I've never used a VR headset in my life and I've got my head around the thing. Number two, my whole business is now revolved around indoor simulation when it comes to golf. And 20 odd years ago, if you told the average golfer that you'd have your full hour's lesson inside on a launch monitor, you'd probably be laughed out the room. And I remember my first launch monitor that the golf club had bought. This would have been about 15 odd years ago, something like that. It was interesting. It was a new tool. It had some relevant help and information in terms of club fitting, but it was nothing like the technology that we have now. And when writing this review, I couldn't help but draw similar correlations to that kind of era of golf and to what potentially this will become. However, there's some mind-blowing things that I've seen in this game. Stuff that's going to already, I feel, help the average golfer. But I have to give you some heads up because I can see why some people, when using too much VR golf, have completely ruined their real-life swing. Now, as I said at the start, I'm a VR beginner. So let me give you how I experienced this. Is there'll be a lot of you that don't have a VR headset, never use VR, and you've thought about it. So let me just give you tips and tricks before I go into the tools that I think Golf Plus does so well. So big thank you to Golf Plus for obviously sending the headset and also sorting out this driver attachment, which I'm not holding at the moment, but we'll talk about that in a second. However, I feel like this is quite important for a lot of you guys that have never used VR or seen VR, just like I did. This feels very surreal. As you can see, my hand movements are tracked, and you can see how quick it is. And that's important because obviously we're going to be playing golf in a minute. So there has to be some kind of accuracy. Golf Plus is an app. So I've got the headset here, the MetaQuest 3S, and that's obviously been sent by Golf Plus. So thank you to them. Let's talk about the prices because it's $269. So I'm in the UK, so I guess $300. $269 for this headset, so it's kind of more entry point, even though I feel like it does everything that you possibly want it to do. And we are going to go and play Golf Plus. This is $30, but I have got a discount code in the link in the description, which gives you $10 off, so basically $19. And I just say, for $19, what a game. Like, I'm used to using my Game Boy back in the day, and they were like £30, £35, or like Xbox games, 50 quid, 60 quid. The fact that you can get these apps now, like again, if you bought an app on your phone for $20, like that's a big amount of money for an app on your phone. However, $20 for a game, I think it's quite good nowadays. Whilst we're on the topic of money, I've also got this Deadeye VR Elite attachment, which I do think is pretty much a necessity for this game. It is a bit of money, to be perfectly honest. It's about £80, I'll link in description. However, £300 for the headset, 80, 70 odd pounds for the attachment, £20 for the game, £400, you've got a bit of an experience. Now, what we want to talk about, is it worthwhile? Right, let's go straight into something that I think is incredible. I talked about coaching earlier, this analyzer down the bottom here. We'll talk about the bits that I think are great. As you can see here, we're just at the driving range. So this is just a practice where I could just hit balls, etc. However, this analyzer is what I think separates, let's say, VR golf from normal golf. And what I mean by that is what it can do for path and face. So let's just hit one. And that is a massive slice. But look at this. Club face, 19 degrees open. Club face, my club path, 16.8. How accurate that is, I can honestly tell you. However, a beginner having an understanding of what club path and club face does, I think is incredible. Tell you what, let's hit a fade. So I know this is a fade. So I know this is what a fade feels like. Oh, little bullet pull there. Pull fade. Close, so that's out to in. Club face, open to the path. That's a fade, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hit a slinging draw. Woo! That big hook. Open, club face, slightly closed to the path. But look at all of this. This is what a 20 grand launch monitor would give you. However, let's talk about some negatives. Your smash factor is always 1.49. And I'll talk about this with the chipping and the putting, etc. as we go through. However, let me just wave this club about and I just hit it. My smash factor, 1.46. That wouldn't have been 1.46. Let's hit another one. Let's hit it, what I feel is out the heel. So that was out the heel. Smash factor, 1.48. So, as we go through this, as much as this is important, I will talk about why I think this destroys people's swings. Number one, our centeredness of strike is basically perfect every single time. And that's a big thing in real golf. Real golf, one of our big things is finding the middle of the face. Like that was absolutely flushed. And it could have been in real life, but I could have also hit the toe or the heel of the golf club. So that's number one. Smash factor is basically preset as perfect. However, in terms of club head speed, I mean, with my driver, I do swing about 160 miles an hour. So I actually would say, for let's say, having a good idea of what your club head speed, or let's say having a play about with certain techniques or swings, I say that is quite accurate. The rest of it, like the angle attack, I don't think so. Like, I hit up on the ball a lot. And again, centeredness and strike and angle attack is a big thing in golf. And let's hit massively up on this. So that is very up. Oh, mind you, it's not done too bad there. 6.5 up. My spin was actually lower. Oh, maybe I have to take it back. Let's hit down on the driver now. So I'm going to go hands forward, drive that into the ball. Hang on. Maybe I have to give it some credit. Maybe it's centeredness of strike, but I'll talk about why an angle attack, or let's say attack angle, again, as we go through this, I'll show destroys people's swings. Because there's a big difference between what I'm doing here, and if you play this game, or you want to play this game, why even practice swings on the golf course, for a lot of golfers, they can swing on the inside. They can hit that big draw, but then as soon as they get over the ball, why do they revert back to over the top and steep? I do want to cover that. Getting an idea, let's say, of club face in the downswing, my path, my face at impact. I'm not being funny, guys. This is incredible. And I just look forward. I can see myself giving lessons virtually. Like, I can see Steve coming down the stairs in the future, 15 years or so, and probably quicker, the state this is going, and me meeting him for a virtual lesson, and me going, no, get this club face more closed, get into the slot here, let's get through that golf ball, releasing it. No, don't want the face open. We want it there. Close that face. Drive straight through the thing. So I think it's about time we go and play some golf. I mean, everything through this game that I've seen so far has been pretty impressive in terms of just the execution of it. Like, again, you can buy equipment just like in the real world. And some of these companies that are getting on early in this, i.e. like Vice and Sub 70, to me just makes complete sense. Obviously, that's my bag there. So I can customize this. And I guess the thing for that is, it's a big social game. Playing with your mates, talking to your mates, scrambles, tournaments. That is the essence, that is golf, let's be honest. Now, I have to thank, again, Golf Plus. They've given me basically every golf course I could possibly want to play. Where should we play? Should we play Bay Hill? Right then, on the first tee, as you can see here, again, if I press this trigger, so there's loads of controls here, but if I press the triggers around here, it shows me the out of bounds. So again, in terms of course management, I think this is a really good game, I have to say. I've got driver here, 399 yards. The bunker, as I can see there on the right-hand side, is where I basically want to go. Probably should be able to fly it. Let's just try and hit a little draw. Keep that face closed, swing it on the inside. Oh, that could be tiger line actually. How far? Where are we? Oh, look at that point. I can't express how fun this game is. I didn't think I would see this in my lifetime, I have to say. So again, like in terms of club selection, so again, we've got obviously to the pin 89 yards, my wedge goes 110, for example. I can change my club. So if I want to, I could go full lob wedge. So let's actually try that. So full lob wedge. If I press the trigger down here as well, it tells me the wind. Hang on, where is it? 3 miles an hour, we've got low setting. So wind slightly into, off the right. And here's a big bonus. I like this game because you're gonna strike it nicely every single time, all right? So you have to think about your shot shape and you have to think about your club selection. So let's take the real world game out of it altogether, shall we? Let's talk about the real world ability in terms of getting around a golf course. Course management, where not to miss it. Where should I not be going on the green? Oh, nice little bit of backspin. How do I miss the bunkers? Now, boys and girls, this is where it gets good, I have to say. Again, if we go up here, green reading, what an art. And there's one thing that I love, actually, I have to say, about this experience. Again, I'll talk about the downsides of putting in a minute. The fact that you've got the ability to read greens here, and also the fact that this is not easy, by the way. I like the fact they've not made putting easy. You can't just laser it in from 20 odd foot. See the way I've missed that? See, I've seen this lip out. I've seen putts basically lip out the hole. I've seen them graze the hole. And the only thing I hated, let's say against the Tiger Woods games back in the day, even though I used to love playing them on like Xbox and PlayStation, is the fact that you shot 12 under around St. Andrews because you hold 40-foot putts. You had the Tiger line, which again, don't get me wrong, this game can do. I've got this on amateur setting, I think. So it was so easy. There was no challenge, and you want golf to be challenging. You don't want it to be a piece of piss at the end of the day. Flag back right. I want to be over that bunker on the left. What's this go? 196. Considering I hit it a bit harder, I do think that actually this should get there. 185, 189. Yeah, go on. We'll raffle one straight at the flag, shall we? Oh, she is gone. Bit pulley, I have to say. Let's see where it's landed. Oh, straight in the middle. Thank you very much. And again, so you look at the lines here, the closer the lines are together, it shows you the speed, let's say. The further apart they are, then obviously pretty slow or not necessarily as much gradient. Again, this is a pretty flat putt, maybe just off the left-hand side. Obviously, won't use an iron there, we'll use our putter, and let's give it a little tap up the hill, shall we? Now, one thing I do like about the putting is, I haven't hit a putter this well in my life for a very long time. You hit the middle, just like the irons and the woods, all the time. But the reason I think this is quite good for putting is it actually shows guys, because I've sometimes, when I practice a lot, had the feeling of what a putter should feel like out the middle. This game actually shows you what it's supposed to be like when you hit the middle of the face and you get a perfect roll every single time. So your only job with this now, like I've just missed that, is to make sure the face is at the target and you've got a decent stroke on it, like in terms of weight. It makes you realise how easy distance control should be. If you're playing this game and you're struggling with, let's say, your putting when real life, it's because you're not finding the middle more. This game's great at letting you take the strike out of the equation, and all you've got to do is a good read and a good weight on it. That's it. And it kind of takes care of everything else. Now, the downside, I must say, is because you find the middle with this all the time now, with the driver, let's say, I can see why people in this game try and, let's say, get a draw going, and because they're outracing their body and their shoulders are screaming fade and they're going like this, they get onto, let's say, a real golf course, a driving range, they see that draw, they visualise it in-game. I don't know if I want to hit a draw here. Oh, we'll just go punt it down the left-hand side, why not? Oh, beautiful. And now all of a sudden in real life, they haven't got that angle of attack perfect. They haven't got that centerness of strike perfect. And again, I can see why people struggle, because if I simply take the headset off, your swing path and your angle attack will change to hit the golf ball. If you're now coming over the golf ball by 6 inches, of course you're going to miss it, because in virtual reality it told you that hit the middle of the face, when in reality it probably didn't. Right, we've got 93 yards. I'm out the rough, which I presume is going to take some of it off, and I'm just going to nudge this just to the right of the flag. We don't want to go anywhere near that water. Oh, I think I've played that pretty nicely, to be honest. Maybe a touch short. That's good, actually, because then I get to show you the chipping, to be honest. Now, with the chipping, it's quite interesting because the chipping has kind of one gear. I can't really play, well, I can try and play this. I can't really play these like bump and runs, hands forward. It kind of just rides up the face the whole time. Like, I feel like that would have gone a certain distance. So you do, at the moment, even though with the irons, as I've shown in the past, you can shape them to a degree. With the chipping, again, it just gives you automatic perfect strike all the time. And when I'm hitting the chip shots, I almost have to play like a flop shot in my mind, or the, let's say, power for a flop shot, because it's just going to give you that one gear set. Right, slightly out the right-hand side. Again, you could play hours of this game. I like the fact this is so difficult, to be honest. I like the fact the putting's not easy. It takes actually a bit of practice. It's going to give you the ability to actually read greens properly. And also, this game shows you how important this part of the game is, because now, driven the ball incredibly well there. I've hit irons pretty well there, but I've got let down by my chipping and putting, and that is golf. And what I like to see is 28 handicappers, 30 handicappers play this game and realise, actually, I'm finding all the fairways, but I'm still hitting bad scores. Putting and chipping isn't there. Again, you can play daily games to earn credits, which I think is obviously quite cool. And again, just look at the graphics you've got going on here. So that's my house over here. Look, I can go in. Oh, cool, what's this? I don't think I've even been in this bit before. Oh, I'm definitely falling off the mat, aren't I? Oh, you can put that on there. Again, I'm very much a newbie when it comes to, let's say, virtual reality and everything else. Again, when it comes to the analyzer, when it comes to the audio, when it comes to gamifying golf, what a stage we're actually at the moment, and what it can do in terms of the realism is actually incredible. Let's cover the problem in terms of you ruining your swing playing this game, because I think that's the major concern, I think, when it comes to using this game and playing this game. I think if you get so used to seeing a particular shot shape, i.e. you get so used to seeing, let's say, a draw like that, but in the real world, you take the headset off and then you get a real golf club and you do that same action and you clear the ground by, let's say, 2-3 inches, that's going to be a bad shot. However, that being said, this gives you some of the best visuals of what a swing or draw should be like. Like, I can't actually see my body here. So you can see how an in-to-out swing actually works in terms of a draw, making sure that face is closed, especially with that analyzer. Because my body is not here, I can see actually how a fade works, or let's say a slice or a cut. Because it has the numbers, because it has this ability to track everything, I think it can be a massive bonus for a lot of people trying to play this game, trying to hit better shots and obviously trying to improve. After you've played this game and you've obviously used your VR headset, I highly recommend picking up a real club. Like, this is still quite light, like a wedge weight, I would say, compared to this. Even driver, like me trying to do that same position, a lot more strain on my wrists. My second thing that I think only going to get better is this analyzer tool. Like, it is accurate. Like, even that kind of nuance of me hitting the ledge there. Do you know what I mean? It's not just one swing like you used to play back in the day where you just, again, Tiger Woods, pull your thumb down, pull your thumb forward, put a bit of spin on it. There is certain dexterity to this, and I only want to see that improve. I want to see my angular attack and centeredness of strike especially be introduced, because I actually think lessons could be achievable through this going forward. Like, again, when I look at what's available through here, and we got golf lessons and you got YouTube, like having a virtual assistant next to you, telling you where it's supposed to be. Like, I've used Hack Motion in the past. There is absolutely no reason, well, I can't see anyway, why when I'm swinging a golf club that it should vibrate if I'm in the wrong position. Like, if I go outside the boundary, let's say I get really steep and across plane, it vibrates until I get, let's say, more neutral. All of a sudden, look, I'm down on plane, just like this. Ooh, sling it down there, son. Another thing in the comments, career mode always gets talked about. That kind of makes sense to me. Oh, TPC Sawgrass, nice. So that kind of makes sense to me why people would necessarily want that in the game. However, my last point is this. I said at the start of this video, Is this golf? And I guess we have to ask ourselves what golf is, because for a lot of us, it's a social game where we get to talk to our mates, get to unwind throughout the day, take away the stresses, let's say, of our week. And to be perfectly honest, if you synced up with, let's say, 2-3 mates playing this game, I can 100% see this being a social part of your day. All talking about golf, you can't get out because it's raining or snowing, or let's say it's 9 o'clock at night, so you can't get to the golf club. Therefore, you put your headset on, and even though it isn't 100% realistic, it is mind-blowingly realistic when I'm playing this game, especially when it comes to this side of it, and when you're obviously having to read greens and how finesse it actually is in terms of a good putt or a bad putt, or let's say a shot to the right or a shot to the left. I can see people playing this socially, talking about their golf game and all having a laugh. My second point is golf is a challenge, especially in the real world. We like a challenge. We like something to complete. Obviously trying to get better. Couldn't have hit that better. I think I thought I pulled that. And this game is a challenge. Therefore, I feel like it is like golf at the end of the day, because even though the centeredness of strike and the angle of attack basically is perfect each time, there's enough of a challenge to this game that I can't see you actually getting bored of it. And then my last point, and I guess you have to chalk this up to whether you believe in the new age or, oh, hello. I didn't mean to do that. Golf, a lot of people, is getting out, fresh air, exercise, more importantly. And I guess we are very much in a world where everything is more screen time, inside, comfortability. And to be honest, when I look at my third point, I'm on the fence when it comes to number 3, because I do think this has great attributes. As a golf coach looking at it and what it shows you in terms of the visual aspects and path and club face and shot shaping, etc. Not to mention course management, reading greens, all that kind of stuff I think gets overlooked on a day-to-day basis. However, if you're buying this to improve your golf game, at this point in time, I don't see that being a great investment. If you're buying it because you can't get out as much as you like, you want to chat to your mates about golf whilst playing golf and having fun, I mean, the game is exceptional for what it is. And again, I just think back to that old blocky flight scope launch monitor that I had 10, 15 years ago, and where this is going to go for everything in the world, potentially not just golf related. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching this video. Again, thanks to Golf Plus for obviously the headset and the game, and Deadeye for the golf club attachment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, and I'll catch you in the next.